The first strategy I use is to make a connection between the number of the commandment and the main idea or ideas of the commandment. The second strategy is I may use the same number of letters to match up with the number of the commandment. Let me show you what I mean. Take the first commandment, for example. Since it is the first and most important commandment, I choose to focus on the main idea of the number 1. We should have only one God or one Lord. Put God first, or love God first above all things. The second commandment. I choose to focus on the number 2. For example, I choose to focus on the 2 main ideas of the Lord's name. Another example is to focus on the holy name of Jesus. And finally, not to take the Lord's name in vain. The next commandment, the third commandment. I choose to focus on the number 3 or 3 main words. The first 3 words I choose to focus on are Holy Lord's Day. The second, keep holy the Sabbath. And finally, go to Mass or church. The fourth commandment. I choose to focus on 4 main words or 4 main ideas. The first, honor thy father and mother. The second, do what parents tell you. Now I know that's 5 words, but still 4 main ideas. And finally, respect all authority figures. That includes your teachers. The fifth commandment, one that is desperately needed in our modern world today. I choose to focus on 5 main words or main ideas. The first, thou shalt not kill or murder. Respect all forms of life. That includes human life and also animal life. And when it comes to abortion and euthanasia, we should be respecting all forms of human life from womb to the tomb. The sixth commandment. I choose to focus on the 6 letters of the word adults. This is often because students don't really understand what the word adultery means. So I try to explain to them that to be married, you have to be an adult. And the plan for marriage is 1 wife and 1 husband. In marriage, and also for those who are not married, the commandment also requires us to be chaste and to be pure. The Bible tells us that only the pure of heart shall see God in Matthew chapter 5, verses 8. You do want to experience the beatific vision of God, don't you? Now for the 7th and 8th commandments, they're not always the easiest to remember, so I'm going to treat them together. The 7th commandment forbids stealing, the 8th commandment forbids lying. So I'll focus on the 7 words for the 7th commandment, thou shalt not take thy neighbor's goods, and 8 words for the 8th commandment, no lying, tell the truth no matter what. I also have the strategy of using the letters 7 and 8 to make a combination of 15, so no stealing or lying. Now, how do I often remember that stealing is first? Well, because stealing is slightly higher on the hierarchy of wrongness. And finally, the 9th and 10th commandments. Both forbids coveting. Coveting thy neighbor's wife and coveting thy neighbor's goods. Now, many students often don't understand what the word coveting means, and it basically means to lust after. So I focus on the 9 words, or 9 main ideas for the 9th commandment. Do not want what you're not supposed to have, which basically means appreciate the wife you have. She is God's gift. Or conversely, the husband you have, he is God's gift. The 10th commandment forbids coveting your neighbor's goods. So appreciate all the good things that God has given you. In essence, the idea is that if you covet something or desire something long enough, you might be willing to carry out those misplaced desires.